Okay, I think we're live, Amber.
Cool. So guys, we have budget and finance tonight. Starts at 7:30. We are a little bit late. So real quick roll call. We have Erica,
Yes.
Christian,
Yes.
awesome. Mr. Mosey is still here, and myself. So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Mary Jo, she just popped in.
I apologize for
Awesome.
my tardiness.
You're fine. Mary Jo, yes, yep, she's here. So we have everybody here, and we're ready to rock and roll. Yeah? Cool.
Sorry about that.
So you guys have meeting minutes for quite some time. My bad, but I know it's a lot of catch up, so it looks like a lot. And I need to figure out how to number stuff and name stuff with the same name all the time so I can find it, but neither here nor there. Can we have those just over read and looked by our next meeting?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Cool. So you guys have the agenda. It looks like a lot. Can we get an adoption a first and a second?
Move to adopt the agenda.
Awesome.
I'll second.
Banking issues, press 1.
Cool. Everybody, so, yeah, Christian, yeah, I'll take a vote. Roll call. Christian.
Yes.
Cool. Erica.
Yes.
Cool. Mary Jo.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. So first on the list real quick, business permitting systems. Like, what do you guys think? So basically some cities charge businesses X amount of money for a license to practice business there. Is that something that we want to look at or no?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, Amber?
So like some cities, like where I'm from, you have to pay, we'll say $10 to register the name of your business with the city with what you do. Basically, it's outside of like building permits, okay? It's a way of revenue, but it's really not. Like, it's just a way of holding like businesses accountable for who work there, what they do, so the way we can start developing kind of like an internal list, yeah? So is it something that we want to think about? Is it something we don't want to do?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
businesses that operate in the city or in our city are supposed to have a permit in order to operate. So we currently have a system where we do require that they obtain basically a license or a permit in order to conduct business.
Is that for all businesses or just the ones listed on our codified ordinances? Because those are old and out of date.
No, it's supposed to be like, for example, if somebody comes in to the city and they want to operate in the business district, they have to make sure, first of all, that their business can operate within the zone. So that's part of that example. They have to have a permit on their wall, basically a license saying that they are licensed to operate. If a business, even a business that's operating out of their home, technically they're supposed to obtain a license, basically. So if somebody is, operating basically a commercial business, they're supposed to be doing it, even if they have to list their home address, as their place of business. Because it's operating technically in a residential area, but they are supposed to.
So who's collecting this?
Mr. Knight.
Okay. What's the current rate for the city?
I don't remember because it varies, of course, based on just just like the building permits vary based upon size and, you know, what they're doing with the building, the same thing would occur with the business. So, you know, Burger King's permit might be different than McDonald's, or, you know, Frisch's may be different from Crimmers just because of their size and all of that.
Are we doing annual checks on these as well already?
Well, that's a good question. We are actually right now, one of the things that we are doing is not so much with the businesses. I haven't asked for that yet, but we are actually going through our rental listing from the residential standpoint, because we did recognize that there were several rental properties that were not registered. So we're actually doing a thorough going through of that now. So no,
Awesome.
the short answer is no. I'll talk to Mr. Knight about the annual on the business, but we are doing it for the residential rental properties.
Cool. Anyone?
Sounds like we already have a system in place. I guess we would just need to figure out how it works, and, you know, if there's some information that you're trying to mine from that system, then we would just need to figure out how to do that.
True. And our online codes need to be updated with all of this information in there because it's not on there. Cool.
Is it in that like 90-page document that we received? Because it may be in there.
No, because we would have had to have adopted that in 2019 or 2020, and we haven't. I mean, that's why, yeah, it's old, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't had an opportunity to read that document, so it may be in there. I guess if not, we would just, because, I mean, obviously there must be some kind of system in place, so it's got to exist somewhere.
True. Awesome. So then maybe we're already doing this too. Ron, general contractors registration, if they do city work inside of the city as like a general contractor, are we currently registering those guys as well?
In other words, well, so I'm just for clarification, are you talking about, like, for example, if we do contracting jobs, and obviously depending on the size of the job?
No.
Every business, every business that does city with the every business that does business with the city of North College Hill has to register with us so that we have them in our system so that we can pay them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So no, like general contractors, say Bob down the street wants to get his house like remodeled. Some cities, a lot of cities actually make that general contractor to come in and register and be bonded so that way they don't skip town, burn down the house, whatever they do. They establish a paper trail on contractors.
Yes, that's part of the permitting process that we have. And so your example is a good example. So let's say an individual property owner is doing major remodeling on their house. They have to come in. The contractor has to apply. They have to present plans. Those plans are reviewed by Mr. Knight. And then there is a fee that is associated. And once again, that fee is determined by, you know, the complexity of the job, what they are doing, the total value, because all of those things, at least from the residential perspective, all of those things have to be added to the value of the house, so that added value would also be reflective at the county as well.
Cool. Do we know how much that fee is?
Well, again, it depends on what they're doing. I mean,
Right.
even for something as simple as a fence, if somebody was coming to my house and they were building a fence, depending on the length of the fence would have to be the material and everything, the plan would have to be approved by building and inspections, and then a fee would be charged, and then the contractor would then, once it's approved, the contractor could then go ahead and erect the fence. So once again, it does depend on what type of work is being done.
Cool. Will you ask Mr. Knight to give us like a fee schedule? Like, or maybe
Sure.
just some examples of, just so that way we can get a comparison.
Sure, I can do that.
Amber, I
Awesome.
think this was just updated probably like 2-ish years ago underneath Matt Wallert.
I know, but like, I don't remember having a contractor's rate in there. I remember it only being about building size. Like,
It probably wasn't listed as contractor rate. It was probably listed some in a different terminology. But as Ron said, we're already billing people for it, so clearly it exists.
right. I need to find that. If you find that, will you send that to me? I'm going to look for it, but you may have it more handy than me.
Are you talking to
yeah.
me? Because I don't think I have it.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Knight will be in tomorrow, Amber, so I can have him put together a kind of a brief summary, if you will, and then it can be emailed to you.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. Ready? Everybody cool? Anybody got any more questions?
No, I'm
Cool.
good.
Awesome. Next, permissive vehicle license tax. So when the gasoline tax passed in 2019, we were then allowed to add $5 more to our fees for license plates in the city of North College Hill. And we haven't done that yet, but we can. I also sent over to you guys additional information about the levy. I know it was late this afternoon, and what it could be used for.
Amber, or
Mm-hmm.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
this permissive vehicle tax,
Mm-hmm.
how exactly, is that in addition to what we already pay? Because, I mean, I know this is
No, so
just one
no,
person, but
so
I
okay.
just want to tell you that I own 3 cars. I mean, and I already feel like, I'm getting stabbed by the BMV once a year already. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know, I'm not a fan, but I mean,
Okay. So
I'm just one person.
instead of being $25, it would be $30. It would be an additional $5 a year. And so I should have made that more clear. And so basically,
Okay, I'm gonna stop you for a minute.
mhm.
I just got my stickers today, and I believe that they were $60. So is it an additional $25 on top of that, or an additional
No, ma'am.
$5 on top of that?
Additional $5 on top of that.
Hmm.
So at the risk of being the oddball out in this conversation,
Mhm.
where where are you going with? I'm just seeing taxes and taxes and penalties and penalties. And I mean, are we just trying to just bleed our citizens dry? I mean, what's the
Absolutely
the
not.
movement here?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The movement here is our revenues are flat, and then sometimes they're declining, and the cost of living is going up, and we are not taking care of the city itself because we are paying for everything else, because we are a service-based city, and I'm trying to find some kind of revenue or something, because we've cut everybody that we can cut, I feel like. And so it's actually just to have a conversation on.
So
These are
I
what
guess where
this
I'm
is.
coming from is I always feel like the people that pay the fees that they're supposed to pay do. I guess I feel like there's, and I don't know, I have nothing to back this up. It's my gut. I feel like there are people that aren't paying any of these. And maybe if everyone paid their fair share, it would be less taxing. I'm using air quotes, less taxing on the people that actually pay. So maybe when Ron and Bill Knight do their little audit of businesses, maybe we find businesses that aren't paying, and maybe that's where more of this income is, more of the revenue comes from, versus just throwing more taxes and more fees and more everything on people. Man, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Amber, I have to,
So do you think making penalties, okay, just quick question real quick. So do you think that instead of looking at it this way, we start looking at it like as far as penalizing goes? You see what I'm saying? Like, is that where we see an increase?
Amber,
Maybe, like,
here's the thing, right? So
mhm.
if I open up a business, if I want to open my, I'm looking for a building to open my law practice. And, I'm looking at a building right now in North College Hill. And then I go to the city center and, I get these things that say I have to pay these 5 random taxes. And I know they're not random, but, and to me, people in the middle just get squeezed by everybody, because it's like, that's how I feel. I know it's maybe that's just how I feel. I feel like I pay more taxes than anybody. If you don't make enough money, you don't pay any taxes at all. And if you're super rich, then you get all kinds of tax breaks. People right in the middle just get squeezed. So for me, if I am going to buy a building in North College Hill, and I find out that I got to get a permit for this and a permit for that, I got to, pay a tax on my car and a tax on this and a tax on that. And then I just drive right up the street 3 blocks to Colerain Township, and I don't have any of that. I think that I'm just going to drive 3 blocks up the street to Colerain Township. I think that we need to find some more creative ways, or some different ways of of revenue, because I mean, the people who get hit with those taxes are business owners like me, and people who work hard. And I'm just, I think everybody should pay their fair share, and I understand the need for taxes. However, I got to tell you, I feel like I'm taxed to death. Like, I mean, I cringe every year when it's time. I know taxes are due on Wednesday, and I'm already starting to be in a bad mood about it, because, I get a bill and I pay it, and, there's people just roaming around not paying anything. And it just makes me angry for like 7 whole days. I'm like, and so that being said, I'm willing, let's brainstorm some other ways to maybe do some income for the city. I don't know what we can do, but I'm not a fan of any extra taxes or permits, or I don't know. I mean, I understand why you're suggesting these, but
So,
I'm I'm taxed and beat to death, Amber.
Oh, and again, I get it. I do. And I don't, so once again, like the conversation, we have to have the conversation around these things. And I appreciate the feedback. And I just want you guys to know that, you know, we want nice things in the city and we want our city to look good. And we need to take care of like city owned property and make it like, we should be, listen, Mary Jo, thank you for planting the sunflowers. Like, we should be doing that as a city, and we don't have any money to even start making the city look good. And I'm just trying to figure out how to do that.
So Amber,
I'm trying.
I'm not like against a $5 increase. I would like to know how much revenue this would actually bring us and how much revenue we currently collect. Like, is it really a material amount to increase for $5? Like, I just don't know how much money we bring in from it. So maybe if you could ask, you know, Ari to provide us, or Miss Hall to provide us something on that to know. Because I mean, like if it's a few $1,000s, I don't really feel like that's going to make the difference of increasing it or worth it. But if it's, you know, more than that, I think it's something we could discuss more in detail.
Miss Hall, would you have access to know how many cars are registered to each household? Do you have that kind of information?
I do not have that detailed of information, but I can tell you how much we receive in the vehicle tax.
Yeah, you can request it from the Hamilton County Auditor. I mean, they can send it to us. And I've done that for the city of Cincinnati when we have to do a detailed analysis.
Hamilton County Auditor knows how many cars we have?
It's who pays us.
Yep.
Of course,
Madam Chair.
City of Cincinnati gets like a
And so,
$100,000 check from them.
so also true, real quick, pick this up from another city as well. If you pass this, you get more points in skip grants, basically, as you get higher up the priority list as far as redoing streets, like the streets, like how they just redid my street. And so, but
So I mean, I'm really fine with just, you know, waiting, and I'd like to know how much money we really could bring in by increasing it, or how much do we really get from it.
cool. Miss Ari, can you send that over to finance, please?
Are you wanting the total amount
No,
of
I think-
revenue we receive for the motor vehicle tax?
Yeah, but it should be on our finance report.
I think she would need the total number of cars that are registered in the city. So you could multiply that by 5, right?
We've budgeted to receive $125,000.
But how do you break that down to know how many vehicles? Like, is that 10 cars or is that 100,000 cars?
I mean, the auditor should have a breakdown of what all that includes. I know for the city of Cincinnati, it used to include parking violations as well, on top of different taxes that we would collect from the auditor, and they send it in usually one lump sum check. And you can request detailed information from them. That's where our parking department gets it from.
Cool. So, anything else? Anyone? Just the number of cars registered. We'll get that information.
Just so I'm clear, you're
Yep.
wanting me to find the number of cars in the city of North College Hill that we are receiving the motor vehicle tax on.
It could just be the total amount. I don't think it needs to be the exact number of cars. Like it could be a dollar amount, and whatever the percentage increase is, we would just multiply that by, and we could figure it out around enough number. So it doesn't have to be that exact.
How much if we add the $5, if we go ahead and add the $5, how much revenue extra would it be bringing in?
Yeah, if it's like a 10% increase, add 10% to it. And then
But if parking fines are included in that, then that wouldn't be a valid number, would it?
they should be able to provide a total dollar amount for like the different breakdowns of what's all included in the lump sum payments each month or that they provide.
All right.
Like there's an audit trail somewhere.
It exists. All right, moving forward, vacant and foreclosed homes. This registration. So I'm thinking maybe we do the same as we did for rental registration. We create a special fund and then like a grant program for down payments. I'm thinking maybe if we increase vacant and foreclosed home registration, we could do the same thing, but like for a business grant to redo the front of their business.
So Amber, the foreclosure, how much is it now, or do we have that now, or is this completely new? I don't think I've seen this.
No, so right now it is $500. And I'm proposing that we go up $250.
All right. Well, couldn't it just go into the same grant just to purchase more homes? I mean, if it's a foreclosure, I mean, it kind of makes sense to get another person into it. I don't know.
True.
I mean, that could just give us more revenue for that fund to get grants. So.
Amber, is that a one-time registration or is that like a yearly registration?
It's a yearly registration. It's a first-time registration and then a yearly registration. And so basically what happens is some banks will foreclose on a house and set on it and set on it and set on it and set on it until the housing market just sways at the perfect time, and then they'll unload it, but they'll let it sit for 6 or 7 years completely vacant. But it oftentimes is owned by like a large financial institution or a mortgage company. So
do we have any data on like what it normally is for other cities in our area?
Somewhere, yes, from a couple of years ago.
Like, are we with the going rate, or is ours lower? Is it higher? Do you have an idea?
Ours is pretty sure ours is a lot lower.
I thought we just raised that too.
We did not. We started to talk about it, and then we got hit with the salary ordinance.
No,
Among
I'm
others.
talking about like 2 years ago when we did the rental registration. I thought we changed that also.
We did to 500 for them to register. No, we created it at 500, didn't we? We created it at 500.
No, it already existed, but it was like $10
Okay.
or something.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But once again, like, so the 2-family house down the street from me sat vacant for 7 years, owned by a bank or one of these financial companies or whoever, and they wouldn't do anything with it because of the fact that the housing market was poop. And as soon as it turned around, they sold it. And $500 does not deter a mortgage company from doing that. Neither will $750. They'll pay it.
I mean, I'm fine with increasing it, and that's not affecting really people that live here at this point if they're getting foreclosed on. It's more affecting large banks. So,
And large rental companies that let homes sit vacant after the kitchen catches on fire for almost a year now.
what is the timeline to considered vacant? Does it say that in the ordinance?
Yeah, because it should. I think it's 30 days. No, it's not 30 days. My bad. Hold on.
And I guess I have another question.
120 days.
Okay.
120 days. Yep.
So another question I guess I have, how are we enforcing this? Like, are we conducting audit like the rental registration, or do we just take it up on the bank's word or the owner's word that it's not vacant? Like, how is this enforced and carried out? I guess that's more of a question for Ron.
Mr. Hedger, I've been simply focusing on in actuality, the rental registrations. I hadn't really actually discussed with Bill recently any vacant property fees. So I would have to go back to him and see how much has actually been collected as of a year to date. But I cannot give you that information immediately.
So we don't know actually if we've collected any revenue from this.
Right. I'm saying I can't give you that information immediately. I have to ask him.
Ms. Hall, do you know if we've collected any revenue on this that maybe you've seen?
Are you asking about the vacant property?
Yeah, foreclosure registration or vacant property registration.
We receive revenue from that. I can get you where we stand to date as far as that collection of vacant property revenue.
Christian, did you hear an answer as to what the length of time is to deem something vacant? Did I miss that?
I believe Amber said 120 days.
Yes, 120 days.
So chances are, if the city has been ordered to cut the grass, there's a good likelihood that it's vacant.
Because if the grass cannot be higher than 7 inches by any means, all weeds shall be removed. Yep. Secured and locked, broken windows and doors. Yep.
I mean, that would be a good place to start, is where I'm going.
Okay, so to date, we've received about $22,000 in vacant property.
I mean, that's a decent amount. So, I mean, if we increase that by 25%,
Ms. Hall, is foreclosed in that too, or is that just vacant?
That is just vacant. We don't have it broken out by foreclosed, and we have the rental property registration, and then we have vacant.
Great, thank you.
So, but we are actively collecting on the foreclosed aspect of this, yeah?
We are, and I can probably get
Okay.
a breakdown of that
Cool.
from our building department. It's just on the finance side, it's not broken out that way.
Awesome, cool. Okay, so thoughts on increasing it by 25%.
I don't have a problem with it, Amber. It doesn't appear that it would impact the citizens quite as much. And you know, maybe it's some kind of an incentive actually for them to not leave properties vacant. So
I mean, I agree. I think that's a good of increase if we're about halfway, a little over halfway through the year, and that's like $40,000 a year that we're making now, plus about 10,000 more for 25%. I mean, that seems like a good amount to increase.
Cool. So, real quick, does anybody have any brainstorm suggestions if the 25% increase needs to be earmarked for something or just open?
Well, I was wondering how you're getting the revenue for your down payment assistance program.
Rental registration.
So is there, and I know that I'm probably getting off topic, but is there a limit per year? Like what if it goes over? What if 100 people decide to buy a house in North College Hill and apply for that?
So the way that it's written now, and I got to clean it up. I do. So the way that it's written now is that the funds are available from the beginning of the year until they run out. And then after that, they run out. So I think we calculated roughly $48,500 as roughly what we would see. And that would be for just down payment assistance. And then after that bucket is empty, it's empty. Like,
So first come, first serve.
yes, ma'am.
Got it.
So, I mean, that's like roughly, what, 19 families or so?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if I would like to earmark this money to help more, I mean, I'm all for getting more homeowners here. So if we can add another 10,000 to it, that's another 4 families.
I guess my only hesitation would be there's a lot of follow-up that needs to be done for this down payment assistance program. So who's going to be on the Johnny on the spot for that?
So basically on that, I kind of have 3 different thoughts. Either A, the building department, B, like the Build of Zoning Affairs, or C, our administration, but that's still a whole nother topic to be discussed. It is like,
I guess where I'm going is I'm not against putting more money into it, but I don't want to put so much money in it that it's not manageable. That's where I'm going.
Cool. Okay. So
I mean, I think if they meet the criteria of, I mean, the way that it's written now, I don't think it'd be very difficult to kind of, as a first come, first serve, approve it and then pay out the, you know, the loan / grant, whatever you want to call it, to the, you know, the home purchaser, home buyer.
I'm just going along the lines of moving out before the term is up, or renting it out, or whatever else, leaving it vacant, you know, all of those things.
I think that would fall on probably on Bill Knight, because I mean, the only way that you know that someone's moved out is usually by going to the auditor and actually looking at their monthly reports and seeing homeowner changes, and you can look up, I know, by city of who's moved out of what, and we just follow it. I mean, that's, I don't know how else we would follow it.
I just need to know that he's got the bandwidth to cover that. That's the only place I'm going with it.
Yeah, I mean, I know personally, our community development at the city of Cincinnati, they track the program for the city's program that's similar to this, and it's only one person does it because I work with them directly, and I look at their loan reporting for that. There's only maybe less than 100 people on that program. Because if you think about it, if you're helping 20 families a year and it's only for 5 years that you track it, the most that we probably ever get to would maybe be 150 families we're tracking, or home instead of families.
Christian, did you say that you have one person that is dedicated to that in Cincinnati?
No, they're not dedicated to it. That's one of their many responsibilities. Like all they do is just run a report they pull it from the auditors, and that tells them who's been moved out and moved in, and then they just do a quick cross, you know, the properties that they have, the addresses, to see if any matches are, and if there's a move out, that's when it starts the process to actually recollecting the prorated amount, how long they've been there.
Yeah, because I can't imagine Bill doing the administrative part of that. So, you know, he might be able to give, like you said, some of the information as far as who's residing in it. But it does seem like if that happens, that responsibility is going to end up falling with the administration, in which we're going to have to look at. Because I'll be honest, I don't know what kind of time that would demand, but obviously that would be some extra responsibility that would have to be covered.
So what if the BZA, I guess, maybe made their recommendations, or Mr. Knight made his recommendation to someone? You know, I feel like it's going to be, I get that it's another responsibility on us, but are we saying, so basically it is more responsibility and somebody's going to have to do it. I don't know. I mean, but to help families get down payments here, like, to buy homes is a big deal. So,
Right. I think what I'm saying is right now we are not, you know, we're not in the business of, currently at least, of administering grants, which is what this would be, which is what this will be. And so obviously, as you all just very wisely pointed out, you know, there is going to be a lot of responsibility with that. There has to be, you know, the funds have to be applied for. The applicants have to prove qualification, which means that, you know, the applications would have to be reviewed, subsequently approved. The monies would obviously have to be dispersed. And then, as you pointed out, you know, if we're saying a minimum of 5 years, that means that each of those grants would have to be followed, for that 5-year period. But obviously it doesn't stop after 5 years, because every year you're going to have people coming in. So I do think that, as Christian did state, and again, you're looking at ultimately whatever number that you have, over several years. So those are the only things that I would hope that council would, take into consideration, because that will have to be done. And I'm not, and this is not I'm not necessarily saying don't do it. I'm just saying there is going to be a cost to it. And I think that has to be taken into consideration as well.
I mean, I agree with Ron. I think obviously there's going to be some time consideration. I think something, because we are writing this so broadly, to basically apply to anyone who gives at least, what did we say, Amber? Was it 2.5%? 5? What did we say? 3%? I don't remember what the amount was.
It was 2.5. Yep, and that's something that I have. Yep.
So, as long as they basically meet that criteria, it's a first come first serve. They're basically approved. The house is within North College Hill. As long as they meet those two things, I think they can approve it. And the also thing is, this isn't going to be kind of an all year process, because they're going to run out of funds pretty quickly. I can tell you from experience, these funds usually run out within the first month or two. Usually being a delay for a year, because they're not so popular.
No, I totally agree with you, Christian. What I'm saying, though, is every year that fund will be replenished because of the increase in the fees. So that was the point that I was making. It's not just going to be, they're coming for 1 year and then stop, and then you track that for 5 years. This is the first year you got a group of 5 years. And then, as you pointed out, once the fund is exhausted for that year, there's no more. But then the following year, you got a brand new cycle. So that's what I mean when I say that you're going to have to, there's going to have to be a watchful eye on, those funds every year.
Yeah, that's what I mean, basically, it's going to be, making a spreadsheet and tracking it. I mean, that's how the city of Cincinnati does it, because I look at it every month. We do the loan reporting, so it's not that hard once you have a spreadsheet set up and track it and input them out the changes, and it can do a VLOOKUP and figure out who's moved or not. So I don't think it would be too much work. Like I said, we're going to be maybe 25 families within the first year. I think it's definitely something worth it.
Okay, so what we'll do is we will do the same process. If everybody's cool, I'll move this out to council, because we still have, 3 readings on it between now and then. In our next finance meeting, we will hash out.
Hang on, what are you moving out? Because we were talking about vacant and foreclosed, and then we started talking about the down payment assistance. So which one are you talking about moving out?
Vacant and foreclosed, just increasing the fee on vacant and foreclosed homes, because if it fails on council, then there's no point in talking about earmarking the funds. You know what I'm saying? So moving that out to council, getting a feel for it, and going from there. But the down payment assistance clearly is, we're going to have to talk about that one in our next meeting.
Amber.
Yes, ma'am.
The vacant and foreclosed properties, is this the ordinance that you attached with the -17 at the end?
Yes, and I know that has to be changed to 2020. I know the mayor is wrong. I know that the clerk is wrong. I know all of that. And yes, this will have to go back to Mr. Dieters and Mr. Laflamme, but Yeah.
Okay, so
So-
I don't want you to move it out before it's fixed. I would like for us to fix it and then move it out. Like, fix it and then, kind of send it to us so we can see it and then move it out, because I don't want it to, you know what I mean? I would like
Yeah,
for us to fix
cool.
it first.
Awesome.
Is it still going to the law director first?
Yeah, I mean, I'll fix the dates and the mayor, and then I will send it out to all of you guys and the law director at the same time. Please do not respond, reply all. Just give it a look, see if you see a typography errors. I reckon let me know or let Mr. Dieters know privately, but yes. Cool. Anything? Okay. So TIF and CRA nominations legislation. This is exactly the same copy as we have used in the past.
I'm sorry,
Basically,
Ms.
yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Do you mind if I ask Ms. Hall or Mr. Mosby, or basically Ms. Hall, does she know if the question about what we discussed with the mayor's budget?
With the mayor's budget?
Yes, with the deputy clerk.
Yeah, I was going to do that in executive session. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hi, Ms. Nichols. Madam Mayor Nichols, sorry.
Hello, hi, thank you.
So TIFs and CRAs, I'm going to be honest, guys. I've been explaining these 100 different times, 100 different ways, and it's a really convoluted process. However, it is an incentive for people to put money into their homes and businesses to come to North College Hill, and all of council has to nominate 2 representatives. And so this one is just to move it out to council so that way in new business we can get our 2 representatives. Our current representatives are Ms. Sewald and Ms. Ornita Brown. And so we kind of need to update that. But to my knowledge, neither board has met in the last year because
Who else is on the board?
I'm unsure. I just know that who is on it for council, because yeah. I know that Miss Trout is on one of them as the council, like, residential nomination pick, but
How do we find out who's on that? How do we find out who the leader of the pack is?
Well, and even more important than that, if it's only a 3-year term and you last created this 3 years ago, then it would seem to me like that, the members have expired. But I mean, I just don't know anything about it. I don't know how it works or anything.
so basically, when this is the way that I understand it, and again, is that when somebody comes to the city of North College Hill and they pay for the building permits and all of that, they're eligible to get an incentive back of that for the amount of the amount of money they increase the assessed value by gets abated for like a 10-year difference, basically. So if they do $25,000 worth of assessed value to their homes, then for 10 years they don't pay that, and then they pay the difference between whatever it was assessed at and the $25,000.
Okay.
Nobody ever takes us up on the offer, though.
Okay, well, Amber, before we move this out, let's talk about this for a minute, right?
Uh-huh.
You want to charge, and I'll just use me as an example because, that's what I know. You want to charge me an extra $75 for my 3 cars, and then you're going to abate some taxes if...
No, absolutely not. For your 3 cars, it's an extra $15. It's a $5 per car, and it's abating the taxes if they basically come in and redo the house or redo a house to make the property value go up. Then yes, the difference between the two does get abated for 10 years. I didn't start this, but
I understand, but one of the things I think that the city of Cincinnati does, and Christian or Mr. Hedger, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of people find absolutely annoying, including me, is that, these individuals build these new homes, these $500,000 homes downtown, and then they don't have to pay taxes on it for 10 years. It just, for a cash-strapped city, it just seems a curious thing to do.
How do we know what that plan is? Is this written somewhere that we could see it?
in our comprehensive plan, that's how old it is.
Well, maybe we can create something different instead of, like what's always been done in the past, because I just feel like we just need to do some different things. We don't have to do this because, it was done before.
So, okay. Oh, that's it. So I wonder if nobody appoints anybody to these boards, it would have to be a dissolution of the whole entire community reinvestment area and the TIF one. But that is way beyond my comprehension. So okay. What does that look like?
So are you guessing that it's disillusioned then?
So why
Or
were
do
we
you know?
wanting to get rid of it? I don't understand why we're getting rid of it.
I just want to know what happens if we do get rid of it, I guess, because the way that I'm understanding is like right now it's being used as an incentive for people to come in and to rehab homes in North College Hill. But they are not paying the difference in taxes for a cash-strapped city.
So my question is, why would we want to not incentivize that? I mean, it makes sense to me to incentivize someone to come in and improve their property value. It's still going to improve the people's property value around them, even if their taxes don't go up eventually. It's still improving the community as a whole. So I don't see the point of getting rid of it. I think if we're collecting at the same rate anyway, it's not decreasing our tax revenue per se, but it is, allowing people to come in and, they do take advantage of it to invest in their properties, building either new businesses or renovating homes.
So how about a compromise and we look at reducing it from 10 years to 5 years?
I don't know if we can do that or if it's state mandated. I know that it's mandated somewhere, but
All right.
Madam Chair,
yes, sir.
so we've been designated as a CRA for about 9 years. I believe it took effect in 2011. I will say that since I've been here, I don't remember anyone coming in to build to that, took advantage, if you will, of the CRA designation. I will say that just from a historical perspective, I believe when I talked to former Mayor Brooks, he had indicated to me that when Kroger decided to move from College Hill at the corner of Hamilton and North Bend, that they moved into that area without any such incentive. Now I don't know how that happened. I just, and again, I just remember him, telling me that. But I will say that the CRA designation that we have, which is, as Amber rightly stated, given to us by the state, that we have had that designation since 2011.
And so I'm going to be honest with you guys, and again, can't see it. I mean, I would really like to see, to be honest, Miss Underwood and Miss Zorb. I would nominate you guys in a heartbeat. Like, I think you guys would be great at determining whether people get taxes abated for 10 years or not. I'm just saying, but.
Madam Chair, I've got to be honest with you. I have so much to do already. I would not feel comfortable taking on a new thing.
Cool.
I mean,
Okay.
the way that you explain it, it makes sense. And the way that Mr. Hedger explains it, it really makes a lot of sense. But, just time-wise.
So are we cool with, so with that being said, this does nothing at all other than bring it out to council that we need to come as a council and appoint people to this board. Are we cool with moving it out at that point? I mean,
I don't have a problem with it.
cool. Christian, you cool to move it out? Miss Mary Jo, you cool to move it out?
Yeah. That's fine.
Sure.
Cool. Okay. Moving
Is
forward,
it something, is there a written document or is it just a motion?
it was in the emails that I sent you. It is a resolution.
All right.
Yep. And honestly, I took the one from last year and changed the date and took out our current representatives, and that's all I did. So I'll get it out for a second set of eyes, but cool. So the investment policy, we talked about that in 2017. It just kind of got left out. Basically, I just want you guys to see this, see if we want to even start an investment policy for the city of North College Hill. If we don't, I know we don't have anything to invest right now, but just wanted to get it over there to start the conversation maybe for our next meeting, because it is lengthy.
I would suggest that we table this. I know that you do have a lengthy agenda, Madam Chair,
Awesome.
and I just but we're already pushing up on 9 o'clock. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just probably feeling my age a little bit here, but I want to get through everything on that we can get through, but I'm gonna
I'm cool
start
with it.
wilting pretty soon.
Okay, cool. So this is what we'll do. Everybody will do our homework. We'll reread this one before our next meeting. I know Miss Mary Jo sat through it with me the first time, but at least we have it on paper. I mean, so real quick, I know we've been talking about taxes, but if we're cool to wait and talk about, everybody cool for the investment policy discussion at a later date? Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. Do you know where we got this current investment policy from?
Yes. So the one that I sent you guys was, I think I wrote it in 2017. I know that Angel went through it in 2017. I know Council went through it in 2017. So, but it just kind of got lost, or
I can't remember why it didn't come out of committee.
right.
I don't remember. I
Me
do not
neither.
recall.
Well, I can, on more of a note, I guess with my own job, again, we have our investment policy we just reviewed this year, that, the treasurer and I, we both worked in our bond and retirement, just worked on creating it. If you want to review that as well, and if there's anything you want to add, I can go through it and look at it.
Please do, co-chair. Pretty please do.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep. Pretty please do. Like, yep.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
no, I really don't want to belabor the point. I totally respect what Ms. Underwood was saying. May I just make a suggestion though? I do think that tabling it would be wise. And part of the reason that I believe so is because honestly, at this point, I really do think that our first priority is developing a reserve fund. Even if the objective right now is just to get $10,000 or $20,000 at the end of the year that we could have put in a fund, that would probably be the wisest thing to do. Right now, all of our funds are in basically our general account. That is where we, operate from. But of course, we need that, as you all know, because that is our operating money. So it's not like we have a reserve at this particular time. And I would honestly recommend that be the priority, is to somehow establish, a goal for what our reserve would be at the end of the year.
Absolutely. And the reason why I'm looking at this, I'm pretty sure, and I cannot find a digital copy of our last audit, but I'm pretty sure when we got audited, this was something that they found that we needed to have in place because we currently do not have one. And so,
All right, I agree. I think we should just move on. I'll look at it.
Cool.
And we can talk about it. I don't know, a couple meetings.
cool. So, real quick, 1 mil for parks and city beautification.
My only question is for parks and beautification. We did pass the resolution for Mr. Mosby to look into a parks and recreation plan. I know that's supposed to be due sometime in August, so I would like to see what that is presented and what the administration and they're thinking.
Awesome.
Also, Miss Bailey, and I don't mean to belabor the point, because you know that I'm definitely a broken record. We need our fire department, and I think we're going to do some kind of a tax levy. I'm hoping I can convince everybody that our fire department should come first.
Awesome. So let's table this until after we see Parks and Recreation, the plan that we asked for. Miss Underwood, I do understand completely. Our fire department is absolutely necessary. The good thing is doing this, if we do it at a regular election time, I don't think it's that costly like it was for a special election, and then the people get to vote if they want to spend more money on it. But okay, so, and then we've already hit the down payment assistance fund. Miss Mary Jo, have you sent out the next link for executive session yet?
No, because I didn't know who to send it to.
Okay, so we have Miss Nichols, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Is Mr. Dieters on?
He
I
told
believe
me
he's
that
on
he
here.
has a school board meeting to attend this evening, and that he
Cool.
would try to join our meeting after that meeting was over. So I don't see him yet.
Cool. So if you will send that to the mayor, the finance director, the city administrator, and then the committee members real quick, because we're not there yet, but we will be in about 10 minutes. And then we can ask that the city administrator and the finance director be excused for the rest of it if we want to at the time. I guess so. Yeah, just go ahead and send it to everybody.
Amber, can you resend me the salary ordinance?
Yes, sir.
Did you send that out with the original? I just didn't see it.
I think so.
And then the letter from the city administrator, is that something you attached as well? Or
It is an email. Cool. So in the meantime, in between time, bag tax, I did send that over to the law director. So we're waiting on that one because we've already talked about that one. And as soon as it's done, I'll get it to you guys, and then we'll get it in council.
Amber, did you get my, Amber?
Uh-huh.
I had forwarded, I think I forwarded, there was something going on at the federal level or state level, something prohibiting them or putting a moratorium on them. Did you get that? It was a while ago.
You sent that
No,
to
ma'am.
me,
Oh, okay.
Mary Jo, and so it is currently there. The state is discussing a ban of plastic bag taxes. So
Okay, a ban on a ban. I like it.
it's a ban on a ban, so they're going to ban us from banning plastic bags. However, that is currently being appealed because other states currently have it. It is in appeals court currently, because a lot of people are saying that is kind of the state's overreaching on their jurisdiction within local power. So right now it's kind of on hold. It's sitting in the House, the State House and committee, and it's been there for about a year and a half. So until we get the notice saying we can't have a ban on ban, I say if we move forward.
Awesome. So there goes the bag tax. Okay, cool. Ron, anything from Rumpke? I know that we started this conversation. With garbage fees and whatnot and losing money from Mr. Cropper's time. Do we have any update on that?
No, not right now. I will plan on having something substantive, if you will, for August. Because I do know you're right, that contract is coming up, so for this year, at the end of this year.
Right. And weren't we like a month behind or something? And we were trying to catch that up completely.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if Ari would be ready to talk about that. I know what you're talking about now, which was but we can plan to talk about that in August if that's okay with you.
Cool. Just to touch on it real quick, increasing cable fees, regulatory fees. I think I've been told this. Actually, I know I've been told this 100 times, but for some reason we have not changed like our cable fees of what we charge like cable providers is the way I understand it since like the 80s or 90s.
I cannot answer that honestly. Okay. I don't know. I that would be one that I would have to look into as far as what we're charging them.
Cool. So everybody should have the executive session link now. Does everybody have that?
I do.
I had some other new business if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. I'm cool.
So it's really just a question. A friend of mine is a council member in another city, and they submitted to the state and a memorandum of understanding in regards to the opioid crisis, and it's to get money back from the state. And I was wondering if we did that. If not, why not? And can we still?
And how much money have we spent or lost?
Are you asking me?
No,
I would have no way of knowing that.
I know. I'm adding to that because, Madam Mayor, when we met with Mr. Fells the other day, was he not talking about how much like PPE it wasted and whatnot, like dealing with the opiate crisis and people in?
Yes, ma'am, he was.
And
I guess where I'm going with this is I'd much rather get money from the state than nickel and diming our residents. Miss Underwood, you can have your $5 per car back. Let's get some money from the state.
And considering that currently we get nothing.
Mrs. Orba, when you're talking about money from the state, I'm assuming that the money that you're talking about would go directly toward the opioid crisis. Am I not correct in saying that?
It would reimburse us for the money we've spent on the opioid crisis. Yes.
Right. Okay. Because I think, I want to be clear because we're talking about the tax that Ms. Underwood was referring to, which that money would basically go to the general fund, but in this case, what you're talking about, because we talked about this when I was on council several years ago, as far as getting money, but that money would have to be used specifically for, for any of the remedies and things like that deals specifically with the opioid crisis. Very similar to, quite frankly, what's happening with the CARES Act and the money that we would be receiving as far as COVID, the COVID-19 crisis. Those monies have to be applied specifically for use in dealing or, adjusting to make adjustments or necessary adjustments for COVID-19.
I understand that completely, but my point is if we get money back from the state money, it's money that we're spending no matter what. So why don't we get reimbursed for that? And then the money that we were going to spend on that, we can spend it on something else.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were clear on that.
Yeah, I was just being a smarty pants relating the $5. I understand that they are not really related.
So, Mr. Fels, I'm pretty sure said it was $755 that we waste in PPE and medicine on average per overdose in this city that we don't see back. So, Ms. Zorb, thank you for this. Like, we need one of those.
Ms. Zorb, just one other question. I would certainly appreciate it if you would share with us what city you're referring to and who might that point of contact be. That would probably help me too as well.
Actually, I have their entire legislation. How about if I send it to you?
That would be tremendously helpful. Thank you.
You got it.
Ms. Zorb, can I have a copy?
No, you may not. Of course you
I'm mowing
can.
down. I'm mowing down the sunflowers. Just kidding.
I know where you live.
Okay, cool. Any more new business? I like it. Cool. So we are going to leave this one and enter into executive session at 8:55 p.m. Well, I'm going to say 8:57 p.m. We are leaving this one to enter in executive session. Cool. So everybody has the link and we're good? Okay. I will hear you guys in the next one. So everybody's cool to, like, you know, you leave this meeting, go into executive session, but you have to come back to this one. Yeah?
Amber, everyone's gone but you.
Okay, cool.
Go. Hi, Drew. Did you fall asleep? We would understand if you did. Eric and I almost fell asleep in the meeting.
I'm still up.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I'm dying. I am dying.
Mm-hmm. 5:30 is going to come really early
Oh my God, you have to get up at 5:30 tomorrow?
every day.
Oh, no, I don't have to do that anymore. My hustle is my own.
Mm,
Kind of great, actually.
I bet.
I think I'm turning my alarm off tomorrow.
Man, that's just not right. So where do
Any
you think?
consolation for I don't know how many years I've worked for somebody else. It's about time I work for myself.
You're younger than me, so stop. I know I've worked for somebody else longer than you have.
Well, I feel like it's been a million years. And, add to that the whole, everybody treats you like you're crazy or like you got everything you got because of affirmative action nonsense. I'm like, dude, the bar exam knows no color. You sit there and if there's a number, you cannot like nobody was just like, hey, let's let the black girl pass the bar exam. Golly.
Lower the bar, get it? Ha.
I know, right?
Ah.
It's like, I mean, some of the stuff is just so idiotic. It's just I would get incredulous. Like, you people are stupid. I just can't even take it.
Come on, Amber. Christian, somebody.
Yes, we need one more person. Come on.
Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I hope she got the text. She left before she confirmed it.
Oh, that's true. Okay, well. Oh boy.
Where's Christian? Why didn't he come back over?
I don't know. Good question. Maybe he went to sleep.
If he did, he went to sleep the last hour because he didn't even say anything in that meeting.
He said a couple of little things, and I mean, we're still fighting over the same thing, and I'm like, did we really fix or solve the problem? I'm like,
No, we talked about the same problem over and over.
right. We just ran around in circles, and I'm like, sometimes you got to make a hard, but you know what? I got a solution. We can't talk about it now, but I got a solution. Nobody's gonna like it, but I got one.
Hey, Drew, we're not like broadcasting now, are we?
We are.
Uh-oh.
Are you coming back into this meeting? No, we have to go back into the real meeting to adjourn. And Amber's not in, so it's just me and Erica. We can't adjourn.
To adjourn.
Because don't we have to have a quorum?
Yes, we have to have 3.
Can
I
you
know
please
this.
just jump on for a minute, please?
Pretty please.
Get out of bed and jump in for a minute. Thank you. Okay, bye.
He went to bed.
He sounded like he was already sleeping. I don't know where Amber is, so.
It was a long meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do something about those long meetings. We can't just cram up everything into the agenda.
Did you see that agenda?
Yeah, no, it was just too long.
Oh, there's somebody.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Who was
Hi.
that? That's
Sounds like
Christian.
Christian.
Okay. I move that we come back from executive session.
I'll second.
Yeah,
Okay. And now I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
sounds good.
All out.
All right.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you.
Have a
Thanks,
good
Drew.
night. See you, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, have a good night, everyone.